you'll survive. Poisoned Productions.
Hey, give me a listen. The corpses a cheer. At least those of you who still got an ear. I'll tell you a story. Make a skeleton cry.
Oh, I'm sorry I didn't see you there. Come in, come in. Were you looking for a new cut for the wedding? Exciting, isn't it? I'll give you something fashionable. Something like myself. A snip here and there and another one over here. Perfect. Your cut is done and you're looking fantastic. Now the money. No, seriously, the money. Oh, what are you talking about? The cash. What? You don't have any money? Oh, forget it. I don't know how I always manage to get the customers who can't pay. Tell Emily I said hello.
Alright guys, so the first thing you're going to want to do is cut up some ping pong balls so you have these like half spheres that you can cover your eyes with to get that googly eye effect. And now I've just drawn on where I want the pupils with a Sharpie, and then I take small sewing scissors and cut out a hole in both of them. And then because you don't want any sharp edges, I went around the edge of the ping pong ball with some hot glue, just so that from where I split the two ping pong balls, there aren't any sharp edges or poking out plastic that could get into my eye. This is a really important step, and it's super quick and easy. Just remember to do it. And then I went back in with that Sharpie around the pupils just to make sure there was absolutely no white. You could add a see-through black fabric to the pupil holes, but I didn't have any, and honestly, I think the illusion was still there. Now, I have sketched out a drawing of what I kind of want the barber to look like. I did take a lot of reference from the photos from the movie, and he is actually in the movie a lot, just usually as a background character. So keep an eye out for him, but all these techniques will work for any of the like blue characters or skeleton characters. So basically all I'm doing right now is just sketching out roughly where I want everything to go, just so I have an idea of where I want to lay the latex and cotton down. It just helps, collect my thoughts. So here I'm just adding a layer of latex and then laying cotton on top of it, and then going in with more liquid latex over top of that, and then using some Vaseline on my fingers to smooth out that cotton and latex that I just laid down. You can also dip your fingers in liquid latex to help smooth it. Both of these techniques work pretty well. It's just whichever you prefer. And make sure each layer of cotton and latex is completely dried before you add another layer over top of it. It just helps with the smoothing process. And I basically repeat this step until I have the amount of like 3D effect I want. Basically, I made the cheekbones and the chin really prominent, and then I just made like the eyebrows and the lower jaw slightly less prominent, just because I don't think they would be as raised as the cheekbones and the chin. Now that you have your base out, I'm just putting powder all over it to make sure that it's not sticky. And I'm going in with the flash palette and taking this cream blue and white and going all over my face with it. Now you could use a face paint for this too, but I kind of just wanted to use up this blue just because I haven't got to try it out yet. The blue in this. I've tried the other colors, obviously. This does take a long time, and you really have to smush the cream into all the little cracks and crevices. So I would definitely recommend face paint, but I don't really have a blue that was like the blue I wanted. This is the face paint blue that I'm using now, and as you can see, it's more of like a light blue rather than like a tealy blue. I used it on the back half of the bald cap and down my neck and shoulders just so that it was quicker. And I'm taking white, blue, and gray and using a flicking technique with my paintbrush, saturating it a lot in the paint and then flicking it all over my face just to break up that teal blue and to make it look like I have more like skin texture. I still want the look to be cartoony, but I also want a little bit more depth and like realism in this look. Now I'm going in and taking this blue eyeshadow and going in and shading some spots. I go back in with a cream blue just because this wasn't as dark as I wanted it to be. But it's good to layer from light to dark just so you don't accidentally put too much dark shading on and then you're like, oh F, like what am I gonna do now? So as you can see, I'm taking the dark blue from the Flash palette and just re-going over those spots and then blending it out slightly. And I'm adding it just everywhere that there's going to be a little bit of shadow and just helping me like structure the face and decide where the deeper colors are gonna go. Looking at your reference photo while doing this will help. Now I'm just placing the eyeball on my face just to kind of get an idea of where it is going to sit, just so I know where I need to darken and where I need to drag the color down to so you still see it. Now I'm going in with a darker blue and a black and just darkening up anywhere that I want to be really, really deep. Like the eye sockets around the eye are really deep in the cartoon, so I wanted to simulate this as well. And then I'm going in and just buffing out around my mouth and around my jawline and my chin, just to really deepen up those holes and make it look like my skull parts, like my chin and my cheeks are really protruding from my face. Now I'm going in and adding the black to my mouthpiece just to create the illusion that the mouth is open. Now I kind of effed up on the mouth. The shape isn't exactly how I would like it. I wish the middle came down a bit more and the sides went up a bit more just to give a really dramatic mouth, but overall I'm still happy with how it turned out. Now I'm just adding the nose, and as you saw before, I was just buffing out the eyebrows just to give a bit more of a gradient. And again, I'm just following my reference photo. Now I'm adding just a bit more black by the eyebrows to really give it a bit more depth. Now I'm adding white on a beauty blender and giving this look some highlights, and then I go in and buff those out a little bit so they're not as intense. And if you mess up or add white or anything anywhere you don't need to, that's okay, because I'm going in with that teal cream again and just blending everything in, and then going in with a bit more blue eyeshadow to again just give the look a bit more depth and dimension and make it look a bit more real. And honestly, you're going to look absolutely horrifying through this whole procedure. It is just terrifying. And again, just to remind you guys, you can use these techniques for any of the looks. Like the cook would be really cool, or the like priest skeleton would be cool. Now here, I didn't think I had anything that I could do the hair with. I forgot to get black wool, and that's what I was going to use for the hair. But then later I end up using spirit gum and cotton balls and painting them black, and I think it just looks better. 3D hair just looks cooler than just painted on hair. So if you were to do it, I would definitely use wool and not the cotton because it'll look more realistic. But anyways, all I'm doing here is just taking strips of cardstock, which is just thicker paper, and using spirit gum to glue it to my face, and then painting them yellow, and then adding a bit of black like cracks to them just to make them look a bit more cartoony and a little bit more like old and rusted. And then I do go around each tooth with black just to make it look like they're in the gum line. Now I'm going in and adding those like black cracks that I was talking about, just where they meet the gum line. And here is where I add the cotton balls and paint them black and kind of like wisp them out a little bit. I think if you use black wool, it would look more like his hair in the movie, because it does look basically like wool that's sticking out. But I didn't have any of that, so I had to work with what I got, and I still wanted to make it 3D just because I wasn't as happy with my squiggles on my head. And I went in and painted my chest off camera because it was just like a really rough sketch. You guys can do whatever you want. You can use an actual apron if you'd like, but this is just what I ended up doing. And now I'm just putting spirit gum on and applying my eyeballs. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something. And if you were to go out in this, I would definitely bring spirit gum with you, just in case one of your eyes pops off. You can quickly reapply it. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching.
I wish I had a better voice and sang some better words. I wish I found some chords in an order that is new. I wish I didn't have to rhyme every time I sang. I was told when I get older all my fears would shrink, but now I'm insecure.